Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for August 20th, 2025. Hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. As you can probably tell, Kevin is missing again tonight. Unfortunately, a work situation has come up. It was an emergency, so literally, because he works in medical. So unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight again. He will be here next week, hopefully, and we'll still have Movie Club coming out on Friday this week. So no Kevin tonight again, unfortunately, but most likely like 75% chance he'll be here next week. So we'll go ahead and see what ends up happening. But hope you're all having a good week so far. Myself, it's been a nice week off, kind of in between summer and my fall semester classes start on Friday. So that's fun, right? Hope you're all doing well. Let's go ahead and dive into the news that we got this week. Up first, reportedly, Deadpool is joining Doomsday, or Avengers Doomsday. A really cryptic post posted by Ryan Reynolds kind of suggests his involvement. A couple of major sources like Variety and Deadline are reporting that he has joined the cast. So, I mean, hey, if it works, it works. If he's there for a reason, good. I mean, we all wanted to see him in the MCU. I mean, it was nice to see him with characters that we got, but to see him with like proper MCU characters, like actual heroes and villains, it's going to be something interesting. That is, if that in fact is true, but which we don't really have any idea yet. And probably won't until we get an official announcement. Up next, Regina Hall and Anna Faris are returning for Scary Movie 6, which is awesome. They were some of the best parts of the first four. Even when those movies were bad, Regina Hall and Anna Faris were really funny. So I'm glad to see them return to the franchise. And hopefully that means that this will go back to the roots of what made the originals so much fun. And that almost makes me think that they might be going in like the newer Scream type direction, where they bring back the old guard and then they have like the new versions of them too, and they make jokes about that. Who knows? We'll see when it comes out. But awesome that they're coming back. Love them in the original films, so hopefully they're playing the same characters and everything. Up next, Weapons director Zach Cregger is giving us his Resident Evil film, I think next year or the year afterward. But we finally have the official logline, or at least what the basic premise of the film will be. And so Zach Cregger's Resident Evil will be about Brian, played by Austin Abrams, who was the druggie in Weapons, is a laid-back organ courier sent on a late-night delivery to Raccoon City General Hospital. And en route through a snowy mountain road, he accidentally hits a strange woman with his car. She survives, but something is very wrong. As he tries to help, Brian stumbles into a full-blown outbreak involving horrifying tentacle-based mutations and bioengineered monstrosities. This sounds like they're going in a original city, but more Resident Evil 7 or Village tone, which sounds great. I think that's going to be good. I love how there's no connections to the original characters or plots or anything. Like, give us a new story. Give us something we haven't seen before. Like, I want a good Resident Evil movie. It's not just trying to copy the games. Next up, Zack Snyder's next film is reportedly The Last Photograph, which is his passion project war drama, which hopefully it's good. Hopefully we can get a decent film out of Zack Snyder again. It's been a hot minute. But, I mean, unfortunately, the Rebel Moon films were also passion projects, which those didn't turn out well. So we'll see how this turns out, if it's going to be a Netflix-only film or a theatrical release. We have no idea yet. But it is at least interesting that we're getting something that's not another Rebel Moon film. So, unfortunate news is The Running Man is now set to release on November 14th this year, a week later than it was originally going to, on November 7th. No idea why we got the delay. Maybe just to finish up some special effects, or maybe to postpone like the press circuit for a week. Who knows at this point? No real reason was given. They just postponed it another week. But what is getting a date finally is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is going to be releasing in theaters on October 17th, limited. So you're lucky if you're getting a theater nearby that's going to show this. But it will release on Netflix on November 7th, just in time for all of the awards season kind of speculations and things like that. So very excited to see this movie. We've talked about it before. The trailer is gorgeous, and we cannot wait for this movie to exist. So give it to us faster. And speaking of awards news, YouTube is apparently fighting for the rights to stream the Oscars starting in 2028 when Disney's contract expires. For those of you who don't know, the Oscars are telecast on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So YouTube is wanting to get in and stream them on their platform, which is cool. No idea. That means you have to have YouTube TV, or if premium is okay, or if it's going to be just for free on YouTube. No idea. But a really cool thing too, and that makes it a lot more accessible to a lot more people. So I kind of hope that goes through and makes it easier on all of us. Don't have to keep, getting free trial things to cable TV because no one owns cable TV anymore. Next up, Marvel is leaving Georgia after 22 plus productions. The studios, or the kind of backlot that they use there, Trilla Studios, is now kind of sitting mostly empty, unfortunately, as a result of this. As we know from photos and things, Spider-Man Brand New Day is kind of filming in Scotland. It's not actually filming here in the United States. So we'll see what effect this has. I know it's had a major effect on jobs in the area, so that is pretty unfortunate. Up next, Paramount is seeking a deal with Legendary Pictures, which is the studio that gave us things like Dune and the Godzilla and Kong franchise, things like that. This would not affect those films. So Dune, Godzilla x Kong, those movies, the established franchises that Legendary already has with Warner Brothers would stay there and continue to stay there. However, Paramount is giving them a deal that would help Legendary hit their goal. Legendary has a goal of doing 15 to 20 films per year, and doing this deal with Paramount is going to hopefully allow them to do that. And that's what they've said and gone on the record saying. So we'll see. Paramount is out there slinging deals left and right after this merger has gone through, so who knows? Lastly, Thunderbolts, or the New Avengers, will begin streaming on Disney Plus this next Friday. Oh, no, actually, a week from today, next Wednesday. So you can check out Thunderbolts on Disney Plus if you haven't already. Kevin and I both love this movie. I think it's one of Marvel's best movies in years. Just personally, it really connected to me on a level of like the mental health aspects and things like that. So, but that is it for the stories this week. Hello, sir. Hope you're having a great day, Mr. Matt. Hope you're having a fantastic week, day, whatever, minute, I don't know. Just have a good time. That's all we can ask for. Unfortunately, Kevin is not here today. I'll just reiterate this now. Kevin is out for a work emergency. Someone had to leave and he had to cover them. So poor Kevin is working a 12-hour shift today. So we will have movie club for you this Friday as normal, but he just won't be here today. Hopefully he'll be here next week. So hope you're having a great night. Alrighty, and up next, let's go ahead and talk about the trailers that came out this week. Not a lot of trailers came out this week, but some ones that are worth your attention have come out. First is Keeper, which is a new film from Osgood Perkins, the third film within a year, which is really something crazy that this man is on a spree, quickly becoming one of my favorite directors. And after giving us The Monkey and Long Legs last year, The Keeper looks like it's more of a normal horror story. It doesn't have like a comedy influence, but really excited about that. It has kind of some similar ideas as Together in terms of like a couple and not necessarily like the body horror, but it looks very good. Also, Good Boy looks incredible. A horror movie all told from the point of view of a dog and the dog kind of fighting for the owner's safety against some supernatural presences that are in the house. Looks fantastic. And then also at the very end of the list there is It Was Just an Accident, which is the Cannes Palme d'Or winner this year, which Anora won the Palme d'Or last year and then won Best Picture. So there's a really good chance that this could be nominated for Best Picture this year. Looks fantastic. Can't wait to check it out in a limited showing. So, but that is it for the trailers this week. I don't know if any of them stood out to any of you, but I don't know. I think Good Boy looks like it's going to be something special. Even though I've heard it can be rough for some animal lover audience members. So let's go ahead and break into the box office this week. And it was pretty lackluster week, but good in certain aspects. So let's go ahead and talk about it. In number 1, in first place, we have Weapons retaining its first spot with $25 million. In second place, we got Freakier Friday holding strong with $14.5 million. This week, Nobody 2 opening up at $9.3 million. I think that's a bigger opening than the original. I'd have to double check that. Fantastic Four First Steps dropping to fourth place with $8.8 million. And The Bad Guys 2 coming in at fifth with $7.5 million. A little bit more of a slower week at the box office, but it's really good because this is continuing to show that horror is really in a golden age right now. Another golden age. Like we had a big one in the 80s or in the 90s, right? We had a little bit of one in the 2000s with like the Saw movies and things like that. We're in a true golden age though now. We're getting elevated horror, great films like Weapons and Long Legs, but then we're also getting great actual horror movies. Like the Saw a year or two ago was actually pretty good. We had the Terrifier movies, which are like super fun and they're more low budget. Like all kinds of horror is succeeding right now, and that's always going to be a good thing. Good Boy is I'm intrigued in watching, but I don't want to watch it if the dog doesn't make it. Haven't heard if the dog doesn't make it. I've just heard that it is tough because it is from a dog's point of view, and that could trigger things for some people. Obviously, if anything does happen to the dog, I don't think they're going to spoil that in the trailers. So with how well Weapons has done at the box office, it's time to release Barbarian on physical media? Yes, 100%. As I've been collecting more and more films, my shelf is almost full. I would like Barbarian on physical media. I'm not that big a fan of the movie, but I would like to have it. And then I really want Weapons. If they don't release Weapons on physical media, I will be legitimately upset because that's stupid. Stores are even like, literally, I think Best Buy is selling physical media again. Like that's how much we're kind of getting some momentum. So hopefully they can kind of push. I don't know who did Warner Brothers. I think it was Warner. I don't know who did Barbarian. Excuse me. I think it was Warner Brothers, but I don't know for sure. I know the director keeps having fights with the studio essentially to get it released, but hopefully it works. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about the movies that are coming out this week, and we got 4 pretty decent looking ones, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Up first is Honey Don't, a dark comedy about Honey O'Donoghue, a small-town private investigator who delves into a series of strange deaths tied to a mysterious church. I think this looks great from the trailers. It has some middle-of-the-road reviews right now, but it does star Margaret Qualley, fresh off of her Substance success and many other things. Aubrey Plaza is also in the film, as well as Chris Evans and Charlie Day. So I'm really excited to check this out. I think it looks great from the trailers, but I'm going to reserve judgment until I actually see it. Up after that is Eden, based on a factual account of a group of outsiders who settle on a remote island only to discover their greatest threat isn't the brutal climate or deadly wildlife, but each other. This comes to us from director Ron Howard with a pretty big cast, including Jude Law, Ana de Armas, Vanessa Kirby, Daniel Bruhl, and Sydney Sweeney. We'll see if this has the same situation as Americana, where it completely flopped because of the involvement of Sweeney. I'm not here to comment on that. Either way, it's just been fascinating to watch it have an effect on other things. And maybe she might not be in Split Fiction anymore. Who knows? Alrighty, third up is Lurker. A retail employee infiltrates the inner circle of an artist on the verge of stardom. As he gets closer to the budding music star, access and proximity become a matter of life and death. I think this looks pretty interesting. The trailers are really cool and definitely kind of has that vibe of never meet your heroes, don't hang out with them kind of a mentality. I think it looks great cinematography-wise, so really interested in checking it out if it's going to be playing nearby. And lastly is Splitsville. When Ashley asks for a divorce, the good-natured Carrie runs to his friends Julie and Paul for support. Their secret to happiness is an open marriage. That is, until Carrie crosses the line and throws all of their relationships into chaos. This looks really funny from the trailers that have been showing in front of the films we've seen in theaters recently. I think it looks like it should be a good time. Got some good reviews, so definitely going to be willing to check this one out. Looks like it'll probably be releasing limited. So if it's interesting to you, or if any of those are interesting to you, go ahead and check them out, because they'll be coming out. But that is going to be it for all of the written components. Excuse me. Pardon me. It's always tough when you're the only person. I don't have time to sneeze or drink or anything, but it is okay. But next up, we're going to get into the movies that we kind of covered or that we've watched over the last week. Kevin has 2 movies that he covered this week, and I have 3, which is probably the least I've had in a while. But let's go ahead. We're going to start with Kevin's movies this week. So let me go ahead and get this pulled up. So the first movie that Kevin watched this week is Clown in a Cornfield, which he gave a 72 out of 100, saying it was a really cool new horror movie. It's a fresh take on a whodunit, and I was surprised who was all involved in it. The kills were great, and the gore was great as well. I would have liked to have seen more killing in a corn maze or something like that, and the characters were just okay. But it sounds like Kevin liked it. I think 72 is way too high of a score, but Kevin's opinion, and that's what he said about it. Alrighty, and up after that is Weapons, which Kevin went and saw in theaters, giving it a 93. Said it's a very interesting movie, and the order the story is told in is fascinating. It is so weird and creepy, and I didn't know what was going to happen to next, and there were a lot of jump scares that got me good. The story is so good in this movie, and it never gives away the secret, which I really liked. The acting was great on everyone's part. Highly agree, Kevin. Weapons is a fantastic movie. We'll see if it has any awards potential. Probably not. But it would be cool to see either this or Sinners get some awards love. Alrighty, so those are Kevin's movies. Up for me next, let's go ahead and talk about the movies that I watched. Up first is My Cousin Vinny, which I had never seen. We ended up watching this as a movie night in my apartment with my roommates, and I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really well paced and really well acted, especially Marissa Tomei, who is absolutely just flawless in this movie, well deserving of her Oscar. I will say that there are a few too many times where jokes and scenes are repeated, unfortunately. Like they take the rule of 3 and go beyond it, which is kind of frustrating. Like there's also a big part of this movie's humor is based on miscommunication, which I absolutely hate, both in real life and in the movies. Like, just say what you're thinking, say what's on your mind, don't keep things ambiguous. It's not that hard, but I get it's got to be there for the comedy. Like the scene where Vinny shows up in their prison cell is funny, but it's also like really angering to me. I don't know why. But this movie is really funny. It definitely takes a minute to get started, but once it does, it just like, you know, it keeps going. And I say that in a very light way. Like, it's not like it's slow by any means, but just like once it gets to the meat and potatoes, like about maybe 20 minutes in, is like really where it kicks into gear. Really, really, really funny film, really well constructed, really well acted, but some miscommunication scenes and some slight repetitiveness kind of harsh my mellow, if you want to go ahead and put it that way. But what I absolutely loved, and wasn't expecting to love, I put this movie on, I'll put it on here. I put this movie on late at night, just expecting to, you know, watch something bad before I went to bed. But no, The Return of the Living Dead has become one of my favorite horror movies now. And it is so charming. It is so, it's weird. I was not expecting to like this movie, but it was so funny. It was like the acting is cheesy, but like it's on purpose. It's almost like it's mimicking movies that came before it, but then also telling its own story. Not only is it funny, it is scary. These zombies are an actual threat, which is baffling to me. Not only are they a threat, like they just do not die, but they run, which, like, I hate running zombies. Running zombies are stupid. They're not scary at all. And I think it's just really there to try and make you feel terrified. I prefer a giant horde of slow-moving zombies because that is so much scarier to me. But this made it actually scary, which was really, really interesting. But the best part about this movie are the practical effects. They look incredible. The tar man looks absolutely incredible. The half a woman on a table, I don't know how they, like, I know it's puppetry and like wires and stuff, but man, it looks so good. But it's also like ridiculously funny. The characters play into their roles. Like the characters themselves are really stupid and they're really like cardboard cutouts. But like, if it's making fun of all these zombie movies, then that's exactly what they are. They are all cardboard characters. But the actors play it with such love that it is so funny to me. And it's hard to tell. There really is no main character, which was really refreshing. There's no like Brad Pitt in World War Z where he has plot armor. I thought that anyone and everyone was going to die in this, which was really refreshing. Funny movie. My only problem with this movie is the ending. It feels a little too abrupt and like, no, this is the only thing we can do, which I get, but it just kind of like, it's quick, it's out of nowhere. But I mean, then I just keep thinking back to the graveyard dance scene with Trash, and all my problems go out the window. So I love this movie. I'm going to be buying it as soon as I can to throw on my shelf because it is truly something awesome, and I can't wait to show other people. So lastly, they had the Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius animated movie. It's free to watch on YouTube, so I watched it while working, I think a day or two ago or something like that. And I remember seeing this movie in theaters, being really excited about it. And my brother and I being huge fans of the movie. Then we got into the show because of it. This movie is definitely aged. It's got some really poor texture work and animations, and you can tell like the creature at the end of the movie, you can see the feet kind of clip through the floor, things like that, which obviously this is an animated movie from 2001. It makes sense, right? But what's really great about this movie is that it is very charming. It's got some good humor to it. There is a weird scene that takes place on an asteroid where they talk about puberty, which is really weird. But the voice cast is fantastic. I mean, I'm going to forget his name. Oh my gosh. It's going to drive me nuts. But Rob Paulson as Carl Weezer is still like inspired casting. But like Patrick Stewart and Martin Short are the best in this movie. They're clearly where the budget went, and they're having so much fun. Like they are clearly not being paid enough for how good performances they're giving. The jokes are decent throughout. I would never say it's truly funny. It's more so charming. It's never like cringy or anything. I would say the only thing that's really cringy about this movie are all the needle drops and all like the boy band type music they play, all the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC type stuff. That kind of gets on your nerves, but it's fine. It's a rough film, but the show definitely got better. But it is a fun film, I would say, for all ages. I mean, I enjoyed watching this as an adult. My parents enjoyed watching this when we were kids. So, I think anyone could really enjoy this one. Alrighty. And that is it before we get to the wheel spin, but we do have some comments. If you're in a universe with running zombies, it's not going to be good for you. True. But the problem is that there is no scientific reason for why the zombies should be able to run. They are decomposing bodies. I feel like if they ran too quickly, their flesh and bones would just crumble. So the slow moving is so much more scary because it's not so much the fact that someone's running. A human being could run after you. I'm more scared of a human being running at me. But like when 100 slow moving zombies are moving and I can't get away and I don't have enough ammo for 100, that's more scary to me. But yeah, I mean, obviously you're dead anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Used to watch Jimmy Neutron all the time, 100%. That TV show was totally goated. And not as good as like SpongeBob or anything by any means, but I mean, and also, can we all remember the End Game before End Game? The Jimmy Neutron and Very Odd Parents, Jimmy Timmy Power Hour? That was cinema. I don't know if I just took anyone back in time on that one. But let's go ahead and jump into the wheel spin movies this week. So we'll go ahead and do Kevin's short first, which was Scaredy Cat. Kevin said he really liked this creepy-ish short. The animation was great, and Sylvester was just trying to protect Porky from the mean mice. Really enjoyed the jokes and punchlines in this one, too. So Kevin really enjoyed Scaredy Cat. As for my short, which was Gonzalez's Tamales, which I thought that there was a little too much humor in this that was directed at the accent and dialogue difference. That kind of is a little weird. But this one is funny. It is cool to watch Speedy Gonzalez go up against Sylvester, as it always is. But when you look at this now, with Sylvester as the kind of white authority figure, and Speedy Gonzalez giving him the business, I mean, come on, it just makes you sit there and yell, fuck ice, all day long. So, I mean, I did get a lot more enjoyment out of this one than I think the other Speedy Gonzalez short that I had covered. So before we get into the movies, Kevin won the wheel spin last week with the movie Kubo and the Two Strings. However, I did not know that he had already seen the movie and reviewed it, so we respun the wheel before we did Movie Club last week, and he got assigned another movie, and it was his turn. for a Land Before Time movie, and Kevin got the Land Before Time 5, The Mysterious Island, which Kevin gave a 22 out of 100, saying, I was watching this movie and then realized I have seen this movie on multiple occasions when I was younger. As a kid, I see how I would like these, but nowadays it was just horrible to watch. The voice acting wasn't great, the animation was just okay, but everything else is just middle of the road. So it sounds like Kevin did not enjoy this one this time around, which I totally get. I watched Land Before Time 4 a couple weeks ago. I get it. The first one is still like it's a piece of like nostalgic cinema, but like these sequels, definitely a little rough. Alrighty, and that's going to bring me to my movie that won the wheel spin this week, which was Face Off, the classic Nicolas Cage and John Travolta action movie. Which is, I'm just going to say, it's fine. I think on the plus side, this movie has a great story with an intriguing premise. The idea of the FBI agent and the terrorist swapping faces and lives, essentially, is really interesting. Also, the performances from Nicolas Cage and John Travolta are exceptional. Watching them play each other is fantastic. And just seeing Nicolas Cage go all out as his insane self, it's great. Also, like, John Woo adds his signature flair to the action scenes in this movie. They feel like something out of Hard Boiled or his other Hong Kong action movies. The problem is there's twofold. Number one, the film is way too long. It needs to be trimmed down. And I would say that this film is very slow and drags in its second act. That's where the film suffers the most, I think, from pacing issues. There's not as much real action in the middle. It's just kind of blah. If the story and the premise weren't as good as they were, then I think I would have been bored. But I will say the performances and that element of the story do carry it through when the pacing suffers. The other thing that I didn't really enjoy about this movie is the fact that this doesn't feel like John Woo. Like, he has his action sequences where it feels like John Woo. He's got the dove in the church behind Nicolas Cage. Great stuff. But then everything else doesn't feel like a John Woo movie at all. And honestly, it feels like anything that wasn't action felt like it was directed by someone else, which was a little odd and a little jarring. I think, it is cartoony with its villains and its performances, and maybe that's why it kind of feels a little weird. I don't know. Like, when it's not action, I think the film, just feels like any other film. Like, it feels like it could have been made by anyone. But when the action takes place, that is John Woo. But maybe I just need to watch more John Woo. I mean, the only movie of his that I've seen is Hard Boiled, which is a masterpiece. So maybe I just need to watch more of his stuff. But it definitely didn't feel like him specifically, which I was a little bummed by. But still a great movie. I did enjoy it for what it's worth, so I gave it a 70. But that is going to be it. Matt, I was the one recommending the Land Before Time movies. Yeah, we both got one. I got the fourth one. Kevin got the fifth one. Unfortunately, he did not like the fifth one. So I haven't seen it, so I'll have to maybe check it out at some point. But that is going to be it for the written kind of review parts of this. We're going to go ahead and transition to our favorite part of the show, which is the wheel spin. So let me go ahead and get that wheel spin pulled up. And we'll go ahead and give it a couple minutes here. I would say 2 to 3. If anyone has any movies you want to add to the list, by all means, please add them to the list. I believe we are getting a little low on shorts. I mean, shorts make up like maybe 30 of the 300. So if you have any shorts, Joey, go ahead and add them if you're here today. But if anyone has any movies, let's go ahead and say one per person, just because we're at 321. We got to get this. We got to get this down a little bit. But we'll go ahead and give it a couple minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little sip of my water here. Yeah, there we go. That's the stuff. A little bit of lime in your water takes it a far way. All right. If anyone has a recommendation, now is the time to get it. Quiet Man? Let's see. Are you talking about the 1952 one from John Ford? Is that the one you're talking about, Matt? I remember when you wanted the wheel to be ridiculous, 100%. And it is pretty ridiculous. But, you know, it's all right. We can always do more on there, though. Yes. Okay, so The Quiet Man from 1952. We will certainly add that to the list for you. Looks good. Hopefully I get it. All right. All right, we got a bunch here for shorts, so let me go ahead and get these in there. Patience, everyone, while I add these. You ought to be in pictures. A wild hair. Barney Bear's Victory Garden. Okay. Let's see here. The Milky Waif. Or wife, I'm guessing. Waif or wife? I don't know. My brain isn't doing so good right now. Pest in the House. And One Cab's Family. Alrighty. Thank you for providing those. If anyone else has any films they'd like to add, we'll give it another 30 seconds or so here. Ugh. Oh, man. Apologies if I seem off or tired. This diet has literally been killing me. So I have been doing pretty well. Barney's Halloween Party. Is that even on Letterboxd? Oh my god, it is. You know what? I'm going to put it on the list, and I hope Kevin gets it at some point. That'll be really fun. Think it's free to watch? I'm sure it is. It's probably on YouTube or somewhere on the internet. Alrighty. Let's go ahead. We're going to shuffle this up. You want to die to Miss Misty Mountain? Yeah, I didn't really announce it on the stream. It's just something I've been doing. So for basically the last 20 days, I have only been eating potatoes during the week. So like diced potatoes, skillet, fried, hash brown, just potatoes with not a lot of seasoning. And then on the weekends, I've been eating healthier. But today, because I eat so little because of the potatoes, it actually was physically affecting me. I felt my body shutting down a little bit. So I had to go get food today. But I have, in the last 20 days, I have lost 22 pounds. So, which is something crazy. So definitely feeling better, which is nice. I mean, not feeling better until my body was like, you need to eat or you're going to die. So let's go ahead and get ready to do this. We're going to get Kevin's short first on this spin. Hopefully we got Kevin as short here on the first one. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. All right, we'll shuffle it up and spin again. See if we can get Kevin his short. Nope. Shuffle this up one more time. And then it'll be whatever's closest. Yeah, this diet's been killing. It's also been a bit of a reset too in some ways. Old Henry. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go with, I can't see anything. I see something proppy or something. Let me check. Let's see. Droopy's Double Trouble. That was the one I saw. All right. We'll go ahead and give Kevin his short, Droopy's Double Trouble. And then I'll go ahead and remove that from the list, shuffle it up, and we'll get my short. Eat quinoa with potatoes. It's high in protein and fiber. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. Eat not it. Yeah, I figured. I can't pick for myself, so we'll go ahead and shuffle and spin. There's an Irish joke in there with all of the potatoes. Yeah, I'm Irish, painfully so. And so I was like, if my ancestors could do it, I could. I want to get that, but it's not a short. Oops, well, we'll spin it again. Yeah, it's definitely rough. I mean, if you're looking to lose weight quickly for like a wedding or something, that's the diet to do it, or to jumpstart your like health kick. All right, let's go ahead and walkie-talkie Holly or hockey. I already did. I want to say it's like it starts with an L, like little school mouse. Nope, that's Kevin's. Can't do that one. All right, we'll do Hell's Bells. Let me see if I've seen that one yet. Hell's Bells. I have seen Hell's Bells. I can't do that one either. All right, let's do Kitty Corner. Let's see. Have I done that one? I have not done Kitty Corner, so I will do Kitty Cornered for my short this week. All right, Hell's Bells is a Kevin one. All righty, let me go ahead and add this to the sheets for me. All righty, and let's go ahead and shuffle this up and get Kevin's movie. Matt, you're Scottish, Irish, German, and part Native American. Interesting. It's crazy to know how many people are actually part Native American. That's fascinating. But yeah, if you're mostly European like me, you know that you just have two colors, which are probably white and red. You do not tan. Let's see. Angel's Egg is Kevin's movie. Wow. All right. Kevin is getting a banger this week. I actually know Angel's Egg is getting a 4K re-release in theaters, I believe. So I'm jealous that Kevin got this one. Let's go ahead and I'm actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find that and I'm gonna leave it on here and leave it as a Garrett. That's what I should do from now on. Alrighty. And let's go ahead and spin it again, get my movie. Give me a movie. Can't Buy Me Love is my movie. Hopefully, I'm actually not familiar. I mean, I've heard the name before, obviously. Can't Buy Me Love is 80s comedy. All right, Patrick Dempsey. Sure. All right, let's change it up. All righty. Cool. So we'll go ahead and close that screen up. Get back to the normal thing here. All right. So Kevin will be watching this week the short Droopy's Double Trouble, and we'll be watching the anime film Angel's Egg. And then I will be watching the short Kitty Cornered, and then we'll be watching the 80s film Can't Buy Me Love. Can't wait to talk about that one. Should be interesting. Let's see here. Should have changed the time. Don't know what you're talking about. It's the same time every week. I set 7 p.m. So if you can't make it, it's all right. These recordings show up on YouTube. Yeah, got mostly potato famine gene. Yep, 100%. So you get it. You're either sour cream or you're marinara. There's no in between. Oh wow, Angel's Egg was one I recommended 2 years ago. Well, it's back, which is crazy. I think it's crazy that movie's getting a new 4K re-release, which I'm excited to go check out. I don't even know anything about the movie, so I will probably just watch this anyway this week. Who knows? But that is going to be it for everyone for this week. Again, Kevin was not able to make it this week just because of a work emergency, similar to last week. So he'll be back next week. Fingers crossed. But we'll be here for Movie Club, which will come out on Friday. Speaking of which, Movie Club this week, we're going to be talking about the 2022 box office flop, Babylon, which I'm really excited to talk about because I had never seen it before this week. So we'll be talking about that on Movie Club this week. And of course, remember this show goes live every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I apologize, Kevin's not here. He will be here next week. Fingers crossed. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen. All right. Have a great night, everyone.